Ironwood Games, this is Marcus, and we're back to Yes, Your Grace. So we're just finished week 9, and we have some changes going on. Your kingdom has agents available for hire. They will be listed here. To make an agent available for the next week, you will need to pay them. To hire an agent, click on the button with their name. You will see the costs added to the summary. So now for our general to start doing tasks, we need to pay him weekly. We also have an army upkeep that we will need to pay semi-frequently to kind of keep this going. Just some things to keep in mind. Let us continue. And that's all I can recall, Your Grace. Considering how much I drank that night, it's quite remarkable. I remember anything. Let's press him for a little bit more information. Did you see anything suspicious? Anybody wandering off where they shouldn't? Lady Lena was staring at Lursulia's dress a bit too much, if you ask me, but nothing else, I'm afraid. And we are glad your daughter has been found safe and well. I think we have examined all guests, Your Grace, and if we haven't heard anything out of the ordinary, Talos' soldiers were the main bulk of our army. Solving the murder case will surely convince Ivo to aid us in battle. Whoever did poison Talos must have planned it out to the smallest detail. If you find any leads, do let me know, Your Grace. Talos wasn't anyone's favorite person, but you need to have a very good reason to murder the King of Atana. We mustn't lose focus on our main goal, however. Udobia won't wait for us to resolve this. In this situation, we shan't rely on Talos, Ivos' army. We need to seek help from other lords in case we can't convince Ivo in time. As for the army, we need to reach out to the neighboring lords, make allies, sign treaties. Sounds like you're in quite a pickle, Your Grace. You're still here? Speaking of allies, treaties, etc., I have a hefty army waiting for orders. I can throw in some extra gold and supplies to aid you, too. 230 men and 6 gold. What's the catch? You do want something in return, I presume? Lurs, from Pendle, Your Grace. He stopped delivering spices to my associates in Branca. Turmeric, caraway, anise, foods as bland as hell without those. Persuade Lurs to renew the deliveries, and my men will aid you in the battle, Your Grace. I will see what can be done. Very well, Your Grace. That's over. We should invite Lurs over, see what we can do. I also marked areas of interest on the map. Might be worth checking them. Maybe we can find a piece of gold or two. We don't know where Udobia will show up, but we will need to start preparing for battle as soon as possible. I have made note of things on our weekly summary, Your Grace. We should be able to deny payment for our agents. We can't expect them to work if you don't pay them, but at least we can save a coin. Maintaining our army will also cost us supplies. It only gets more difficult from here on out, Your Grace. Oh, and there are petitioners. Perhaps the servant will shine some light on the case. We can now explore neighboring locations to gain some extra resources. Click right on the map below. That's all for now. Pigeon! Father, we have arrived at Atana as nothing like Davern. The vast streets of Hagos expand endlessly, it seems. Asalia would love to get lost in here. The journey is tiring, but the views have compensated for everything. Sidani would have made your ears fall off with her questions if you saw the landscapes here. The cliffs and the rocks span across the whole of Atana. It makes you feel very small. On top of these rocks, here lies Hagos, like a nest, looking over everything. I understand why they use the Griffin as their banner. I'm really sorry for the last weeks you spent together. Hug mother for me. Yours, Losulia. Yes, Atana can be quite pretty, but very dangerous. You don't want to be caught in the rural windstorms. You should reply to Losulia. Tell her that it's good to hear from her. Of course, but what would she ask her about? I'm not sure. Maybe the girls have some questions. Of course, let me know when you're ready to write the letter. General, approach. You'll send a W of the ice gate, Your Grace. There's nothing left behind. Lady Ada. Your Grace, you called for me? I always forget how beautiful this castle is, Your Grace. I really should visit Grebno more often. Nevertheless, Your Grace, I have a favor to ask you. There's a nefarious thief going from lord to lord pretending he needs help. He's convinced other nearby lords to give him gold, including me. I was hoping you would help me find him, but I'm convinced that you've spoken to him already. I don't know if you've given him any gold, but we need to make sure we work together to stop people like these from punishing stuff. It's probably fled already, but there's nothing to do here. But we need to be careful when deciding who gets your gold, Your Grace. Of course, I wish I had spoken to you earlier, Lady Ada. I would keep a close eye on those nasty liars. Thank you, Your Grace. Also, we would prepare blah blah blah. We're gonna invite lords. doors. That is something that we do need to do. Well, I remember. Merchant approach. Your Grace, our tavern of Branca is finished. With you taking over half the profits, I wasn't able to pay the upkeep on the staff and supplies and had to focus on selling best powerful wine and spirits. I didn't realize is that at the time it was a new approach would attract new kinds of guests. Yes, the kind that drink, shout, and brawl. It was long before it went down the privy. The entire place is wrecked, sigh. So a little renovation is needed? What's the problem? It would take a lot of gold and effort to put something back to normal. Besides, the reputation of the place is already tarnished. There's no way there was succeed after this. Farewell, Grace. If you hadn't been so greedy, I could have made it a world-renowned tavern. Okay. You called for me, Your Grace? Tell me what had happened during the wedding night. I don't know, Your Grace. I was only bringing food and drinks, like I was told. I'm so sorry, Your Grace. I swear to nothing, by the gods. Please don't punish me. I swear I didn't know these drinks were poisoned. I only picked them up from the kitchen and brought them to the ceremony. I swear I didn't know, Your Grace. Boy, stop crying. Tell me something useful. Have you anyone suspicious around the castle? No, Your Grace. I've seen no one. Please, let me go. I promise I didn't do anything. But the dungeon guard might know something. He was mentioned he saw something in the wine cellar that night. I don't know anything else, though. I swear. Please let narrows our search, then. You may go, but don't leave Davern until the royal trial. Thank you, Your Grace. Son, to disgrace your family. I sent him to gather some brushwood in the forest. Turns out he's too dumb to find my way back home. Do you think you can help me find? There's no rush. We're gonna give him some gold for this. I believe that should be enough to cover your loss. You paid for my son? That's wonderful. Thank you, Your Grace. Go send all the little brats into the forest. We're getting so rich. We're gonna need the general here in a second. Might have had to record this once before. So let's go check on our lovely ladies. Get some insights. First, we are going to let this guy out. He's probably been there long enough, and with people we're starting to get a catch, like for Lady Adala or Ada, we probably don't want him whispering and stuff. Let's talk to the guard. How can I help you, Grace? I've heard you know something about Talus's death. Tell me what happened the night of the wedding. The servant said you saw someone? Saw someone? No, but I found this. I think it's some kind of tooth. How did you obtain this item? I was guarding the prisoners, Your Grace. Well, I might have had a drink or two with the other guards. It was a celebration after all. I never left the dungeons, of course. Until the end of my watch, that is. Well, I'm in the end of your watch. I was doing the usual check of all the cellars, yes. A little unsteady, but there as I found the tooth. Where exactly did you find this? In the wine cellar, Your Grace. I didn't see anyone in there, though. They probably crept in while you were busy drinking. I'm sorry, Your Grace. I didn't mean for anything bad to happen. Let's go to the bedchamber. Aurelia. Darling! I would lead on the investigation. I have some clues that might be lead to stuff. What have you found? An animal tooth. It's a very exotic thing. We don't have dragons anywhere near Davern. The guard found it in the wine cellar. Could it be a merchant? Someone dealt with big beasts before? Maybe take it to hunters, see if he can tell exactly where this tooth came from. I have a hunter in the castle. Ask Godfrey to put one word out for looking for one. That's all I found. Let's see, they sent a letter. Our daughter was arrived safely. She seemed to like Etana. I am quite jealous of Etana's very beautiful place. Castle is much better than ours too. I hope she will learn her way around soon. I'm sure she will, your darling. You met her, tell her I'm sending my best wishes to both of them. Ask her how she's dealing with all of these new things, and what has she been doing without her sisters. Of course, I don't want to write her a full-length book. Let's see what I can do. Thank you, my darling. Yeah, damn right you're gonna stay. So this is where the game kind of does something a little different. So because you can kind of move and interact with things, there's not much you can do until now. So if we look over here, there's some needles. You know that there are needles because a little thing pops up, which means you can interact with it. And we're going to take some needles, which could be useful. We get a lot of storks here in Davern, and they're quite graceful birds. The Grey Mountains seem much bigger in real life than they are in this painting. That seems to be the only thing, so let's get out of here. And let's head to the gardens. Yes, father. Celia sent a letter. Just arrest St. Leontana. What would you... She said you would love it there. Sorry, what? I never got to leave this castle. You may be able to leave the castle if you better behaved. Yeah, right. When you write to Luli, can you ask her about Ivo? What is he like? I can't imagine having to leave here and live with some strange man. If they're in a free space of the letter, I'll ask her. Thank you. Did you see that? The wedding didn't really go planned well. No, that was terrible. The wedding went fairly well until then. Miss Lewin considered dancing. She looked very beautiful in her dress. I really miss her father. I miss her too, Oz. Stay safe. Don't do anything silly, Salia. Do I ever? So if you look around here, yes, there are some flowers, but if you can see this little crack, I think it still looks like it was moved. I could get something sharp and thin to lift it. I wonder if this would be too thick. I need something smaller. Well, we could use these lovely knitting needles to get it out. A piece of paper. Oh, it appears to have some sort of letter. It's a map of the castle. It reads, "Find wine in the cellar. Mix it with 7 drops of the substance of the glass. Be seen by no one." Looks like an instruction letter to whoever poured Parazin and Talus's wine. It's beautifully decorated with some flowers. We just don't decorate our letters. It would be too costly. Maybe we can trace those drawings to the person who has written this. Then we got another clue. If we go back to the bedchamber, she will give us more hint about this note. Found a letter in the gardens. It contained instructions of pouring poison in the wine glass and a map of the castle. The letter seems to be decorated with flowers like in the olden days. How can we trace this letter to whoever wrote it? Important piece of evidence, Eric. Does the general know anyone who decorates letters in such a manner? If he's available, he'll be at the wall. That is all. That is all I found. I'll see you later, my darling. Fine, I will stay here. Your Grace. How are you doing? Is everything alright, Sidani? Last week's events were quite distressing for us all. I don't understand why this would happen. How could someone eat Smudge? Dusty is gone, now Smudge is, well, Smudge is 6 feet underground. And again, I couldn't dig that deep, so I just covered him with a rock. It's so boring here without Luli. You promised you'd convince her to stay. Is she even going to visit us? I didn't do anything wrong, so apologizing isn't going to make it. Of course, she will. Don't want to make his promise. We're just going to have to kind of be unsure. I was very upset of losing his father. I think you need to give him some time. Can we visit one day? I think we could, just not now. Your sister did write a letter. I'm about to reply something to her. Do you want me to say anything from you? Oh yes, tell her I'm making her a bedchamber. Mother, let me. Or no, tell her Solia's read her diary. No, that's not right. I have very limited space, Pumpkin. So I can only say one thing? Yes. That's too big of a decision. I'll come to you later, then I think it's something good enough. Fine, don't worry about it too much. She will write more letters. The first one is the most important. Well, come and see me whenever you're ready. I will see you later, Pumpkin. There's nothing here that I know of that's important. I'm just seeing if there's anything of interest. The table is glowing. Let's take a look. And as you can see, seek expert question subjects. Seek expert question suspects. We have 2 pieces of evidence. Let's go to the castle walls. Your Grace, have a look at this letter. I found this gardens. It's quite decorating. It's quite a unique decoration. Do you recognize it? No, Your Grace. I've never seen an elegant writing letter. I can ask around to see if anyone in the village knows anything. Do you want me to? Please do. Do it discreetly and don't mention it until Talus's death. I want to find out we have a lead. Come in and see me in the throne room when you find anything. Yes, Your Grace. That is all. I will be on my way. Give it the good work, Stan. Yes, Your Grace. And with that, that is done. The army needs food and supplies to stay maintained and ready for battle. The bigger the army to have, the more supplies will cost to maintain it. To pay the upkeep cost, simply click on the Pay button. You will see the cost out of the summary below. If you don't pay the army upkeep cost, you will lose some soldiers. There is pay for that. we're going to do that. I'm going to start trying to increase that army just in case. Alright, with that though, we are going to stop. This was, there was a lot of kind of cleanup we had to do. The upcoming weeks won't necessarily be as tedious. So let us stop right there. Thank you so much for joining us. Please do the hooky book in the comments, and we shall see you next time. Take care.